Alright, so today we're going to be talking about a new topic, which is product vectors. The first thing to know about vectors is you can't just multiply them ordinarily. There are two kinds of different vector products we can talk about. The first being scalar products, and then the second being vector products. This video is going to be more focused on the scalar product. Another term used for scalar product is dot product. So we can start by drawing a diagram with two random vectors a and b with the angle phi between them. And we can note the general formula would be a dot b equal to ab cos phi. And remember that phi is just the angle between the a and b vector. Also remember that AB is just the magnitude of the AB vectors, so these will just be numbers. And if you're going to think about this from a literal sense, the dot product is just the magnitude of one of the vectors projected onto the other. And down below we'll show this. So draw the A and B vectors, and then looking at the formula here, if we take A cos phi into the bracket, we can see it visually on the left-hand side that A cos phi is just that vector right there. So it's just a projection of it onto the b axis. And this can also be illustrated completely the opposite way with the b vector projecting onto the a. So we can draw this diagram here, and instead we can put b cos phi into the bracket, and we can see in the diagram that vector right there is b cos phi, and it's just a projection of b onto the a. But the most important thing is to look at it analytically, because that's what we're going to need to be doing more of the time. So we can use components to calculate the scalar product. So for example, we can just take two random vectors a and b, and if we take the dot product of them, we just have to put them side by side here, and we just have to distribute each term in the left-hand bracket into the right-hand bracket. So that's what we see below here. Now, an important note to make here with the dot product of two unit vectors is that these unit vectors are pointing in the same direction, so it's going to be I cos 0 degrees. And obviously I times I is equal to 1 because these are the magnitudes of a unit vector, and the magnitudes are always 1. And this is the same for jj and any other unit vector. But if we're multiplying unit vectors that are not the same, like I times j, notice that the angle is 90 degrees because I and j are perpendicular to each other, as you can see in the diagram below. So remembering this, we can now write out what we have. And we can separate each term into the scalar part and the vector part. And so now we know that I times I is equal to 1, I times j and j times I, those are both 0, and then j times j is equal to 1. We can do some simple multiplication to get the scalar values. And that just leaves us with the answer below, which note it is a scalar value. Now, a general equation for tackling these problems will be listed below, so you can just use that. I will use this in an example in the next video. Thanks for watching.